Tan Tong Ling Ming. Dear web class, we commence further on our path for the Healing Organ series. Thank you so much for all the beautiful feedback I'm getting. It is truly accommodating, and it seems to be helping a lot of people, and a lot of interesting things are happening. Today we are going to look a little bit at what is especially good for the lungs and the large intestine, as in the practice of Yuan Gong. So the last 3 classes we took care of a little fracture of information about the lungs and the large intestines. There is probably a lot more to say or a lot more to think about. Have you picked up my invitation, or how do you say that in English? Have you followed my invitation, or followed my invitation, I guess you can say. If not, fill in the word that is English here. Have you followed my invitation and started a few thought processes up about specific properties of words, specific properties of qualities of the lung and large intestine, and then thought about it and looked into your patterns, and have you found some replacement information then? And now the replacement starts happening. As we all know, with the pattern work, simply finding out, becoming aware, and sometimes even realizing the replacement information is not enough. Replacement information, once we have found it, needs to be implemented over and over again sometimes. Not always. But the reality of pattern is that just through having one thought, the replacement information, and put it in once, is not always enough. Right? So sometimes we might be years at it. And with time, what can happen is that the replacement information, as the pattern is getting healthier, because we are replacing it, or the pattern is getting less and less active because we are building a replacement pattern, a healthier pattern, is getting, so the unhealthy one is getting weaker and less, and the healthy one is getting healthier, or the body part that the cause was the pattern for it to become sick, or the effect, or both. So there's a pattern and it's a cause, and then the effect is less health of a body part. Of course, in between, first of all, is the chi that changes and becomes less healthy and of less quality. Yeah? So there is a pattern, a thought, or a behavior. It causes the chi to transform, sometimes fast, sometimes slowly, depending on how strong the information was. And as the thought patterns keep going, or the behaviors patterns, the habits keep going, the chi continues to change into the less quality direction, and eventually there will be an effect at the body, or the body part. And when then the pattern continues to go on, then the body part via the chi will become even unhealthier. So once we have started to replace the pattern, we have found through observing the body, that's what we can use symptoms for. If we have a symptom, we can then use the information, and the more we have, the better, because we can create this expanded view of an issue. So we don't only have to look at here, yes? And chi is the tool to observe it. So can you see we have the body? Maybe I should put it like this, but then it's right in front of my face. So the body, the chi, and the consciousness. Or maybe we should put it like this, but I did want to put it down today because it is the foundation for what happens in our chi and in our body. So we are replacing information, and the chi is getting better, and the chi that is within or arriving and nourishing the body part now starts healing with the information that you found or that you know. And so everything starts getting better, and everything starts to transform. But it might go the same way as it has gone from the pattern, from Shen to the Chi to the body. Over years sometimes this happens, that the sick Chi is just getting sicker, and the information feeds the Chi that is getting weaker and weaker, and or does not feed the Chi in a healthy or nourishing way. And so when we start replacing, this process might be the same way. I am saying this because a lot of you, including me, also I don't have too many physical symptoms, it seems, at least apparent to me. We are often discouraged, and that's a big aspect of the emails I do get from around the world asking questions often, or when we talk, still there, or there's this almost have given up that the chi might actually clear it up at some stage, because you have been at it since 2 or 3 years. So this is why I'm saying this. It might take some time. Yes, the potential of chi is that it can change with one thought, in one, how do you call it, nanosecond. And this has happened to a few of us. But for a lot of us, this isn't happening. And this isn't happening because it has been built up over the course of years, sometimes even decades. Some disease shows up only in older age, but they have been triggered or started in a thought pattern as children, in teenage years, in the 20s. And so they have had decades to grow, and the neurological pathway has become really fat and thick. Very well used and very established. So replacing the information is a task of repetitiveness and not giving up. At the same time, without attachment. Zero attachment is the theme of our full moon practice this week, this month. Simply putting in the information, the replacement information, with zero attachment. If you have other qualities or emotions or states of consciousness happening besides the information, the replacement information, so that means the replacement information is not pure, it's not clear, it's not simple. Something else is influencing. That's why there is zero attachment, but full awareness. Light focus and zero attachment. So the full awareness is about always knowing that you can and it will heal. Light focus is to keeping the replacement information strong, and zero attachment is to keep the replacement information clear and pure. And so you go ahead and you replace and you replace. And then sometimes what happens in this process is that everything starts getting healthier. And the replacement information might change. Or you might have to add things. Why is that? As the physical symptoms starts changing and getting better, you might observe other physical symptoms that are changing and getting better or showing up. So then you would have to apply the same process to finding out information about this symptom and adding this replacement information that you have eventually found into the healing process. This all sounds very complex in the theory, but it isn't really. Let's say, okay, maybe we should put an example in here. So let's say, as you keep nourishing your lungs, you're adding qi that is healthy with strong replacement information, and you're just living away your days and your life, and you're just getting happier and happier because you know you are healing. And so you live day by day, and you feel your elbow one day. And then you can go into the information that you have about lungs and large intestines, and you can look at the meridian, or you can just, if you don't know what it's all about, look at the symptom and then look at the information corresponding that you received about an organ. And then you will find out, the elbow has to do with lungs and large intestine. Oh, that's interesting. That means that maybe something in here was blocked as well. And now I am feeling the qi reaction, the change of qi, the change within the physical qi, the change within the channel qi, the change within Shen qi even. So I can add information to that. What is the elbow all about? Well, first of all, it's a joint. And then you go ahead and you apply what I'm trying to help you to learn. You know, with, for example, the lungs, one job of them is exchange. So now you take the word that you are common with and you try to observe and make a Shen aspect out of it. So it's a joint. What is a joint doing? It's joining things. So you can look around in patterns if you have somewhere been disconnected. That is now connecting because your elbow is active. Qi is working in there. Again, can you see this is a big replacement information for pain overall. Instead of going, ooh, my elbow is hurt. Oh, what could it be? Oh, I wonder. Is it a carpal tunnel syndrome, or is it, and all the possible diagnoses that you know are popping up in your head? Go immediately into the replacement information. Become make an expedition in the land of exploring. Become an explorer and explore positive information that makes you feel uplifted and interested, and that helps you find pure and clear and strong replacement information. So instead of spending a whole lot of time in, oh, what could this be? And, ooh, and is this, I don't know, and I have to go and see what's going on, and I don't know, is it so, just days and days of this. So before you do that, it's better that you go to the doctor immediately, and then he will say, there's nothing. And then you can go ahead and do the work that you can do from right away and check out if it works. So instead of immediately, going into the panic mode, go into information, look into Shen aspects. Have I been disconnected somewhere? Also, what is joints for? Flexibility, bending, changing direction maybe. That's what joints allow us to do. Turn around. Can you see? There is a lot of possibilities in your Shen to find ways, and then find places in your life where you might have, maybe it has to do about changing directions. What is the elbow also needed for? Like the wrist and the hands, you are taking things with it. So maybe you are not taking enough time for yourself in a calm, relaxed and healthy state. Maybe you're not taking enough time in your life for living a unified life. Are you always busy running around crazy head chicken, or the chicken without head, from one to the other, or like a ping pong ball, boop, 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 without control, just always being busy, always trying to do the next thing and the next thing? Have you ever tried to simply see if you can if some tasks don't need to be done? Have you made a decision? And that's when the elbow showed up, and you kind of like, oh, well, maybe I have to go into a different direction. So this is how you can play first with your thoughts and apply Shen consciousness into your body parts, finding information. And then again replacing it, and then go ahead and observe and see what is going on. Yeah, and so sometimes once you have found replacement information for the Shen qi and qing to change, you might have to alter the information, or you might have to re-look into patterns. You might have to adjust your replacement information. So to speak, you have to, update your replacement information. Because through the healing process, new aspects might be showing up. And that is one aspect that that's something we have to learn. We have to learn totality, because the totality influences not only our Shen, it influences our Qi and our body. And therefore, if something is going on in your lungs, it could be your elbow, or whatever is on it could be the joint in your index finger. If you go after the 5-element chart or understanding of totality that we have in Sha Yuan, it could be a joint in your ring finger. But they're acting up because you have started to replace information in your lungs. Of course, the best way to do that is via Qi work, which is what we're going to focus on today a little bit, if I ever get to it. Since I'm doing the organ series, I'm sitting down and information starts streaming. So it was planned to do some Qi work today, or practice, as how you call it. I don't tend to call it, I don't call it Qigong anymore, and I'm very aware of that. I actually was aware of it this whole last year. That's one reason for why I changed the website. And then, funny enough, Janse talked about it, this teacher's training, because I have come aware of not a lot of people have a lot of understanding about Qi, but they go out and they call themselves Qigong teachers. So there's a lot of, I would call it negative association with Qigong for the majority of people who don't know anything about Qi. So I have found replacement information, a different definition, and that's why I call it the work with Qi, because Yuan Gong is not a definition yet. But then I use Yuan Gong. So first I say the work with Qi or Yuan Gong practice, Can you see how I build Yuan Gong into the consciousness of people through understanding work of Qi? Anyway, I digressed. Let's come back to what we were about to. And that is replacement information might be changing because the symptom is changing, and you need to see in totality and learn to understand all the connections in between, so you don't always fall into the symptom pit is what I call it. So you don't fall into the worry and fear about a physical symptom showing up and then associating with, but hey, wait a minute, I'm doing all this practice, I should be healing. And here I am having more troubles because the elbow did not hurt me before I started to work on my lungs or on my overall Qi condition. But it just, can you see, it's a very positive thing actually. Things were here blocked, and that's one reason why the lungs didn't get nourished, or the large intestine. And so it's a wonderful thing that your elbow is hurting, because something is working in there, something is changing. It's clearing the symptoms. It's opening the path to nourish the lungs. My students in Austria, who have been with me now for 2 or 3 years, there's one of the students, and we laugh because she comes to me and she goes, now this is happening. And I'm like, great for you, how good for you. And, she always goes, I'm coming with something negative to you, like, this is really painful. And I'm always congratulating her and saying, good on you. And, it's I'm just trying to help establish this healthy consciousness. Yeah? So Janse talks about it in Well-Being Begins With You. We have to work on ourselves to establish a healthy consciousness. And we can do that through establishing understanding of the totality and all of the connections in between things. Not only between body, chi and shen, but all the connections in between the body and then within shen via the chi. So anything that changes while you're in a healing process is yay. Just go ahead and close your eyes for a moment and just feel into this. Is this something new for you, that you're working on something, and have you experienced it that something else shows up and you then get all worried about it, and then you go into the actual, oh, I should be healing, but things seem to get worse. That is a pattern that needs to be replaced. The instant negative thought of a symptom showing up, needing to be a symptom, might be a positive change on the way to healing, in the healing journey. So for example, if you like, you can open your eyes again, but you can keep them closed if this is the way how you listen to these web classes. For example, you have lived your life, you're about 50 or 60 years old, in my case 40, for others maybe 30, for others maybe 20. And so you have started, to practice Renyuan. And after a while you get back problems. That's at least what you call it. What have we learned? Renyan works on the spine, all directions, this way and that way and sideways and upwards and twisting and everything, right? So when you discover pain along those lines, and you have just started Renyan half a year ago or a year ago, and you've never had back problems before, then you should be probably very, very intrigued, at least, if not totally happy, because now finally all the blockages that have been building up somewhere in there are actually starting to open, starting to readjust, starting to realign, starting to connect differently, or maybe they have to disconnect to connect somewhere differently. There's a lot of joints in here, right? So lungs are interesting for joints as well because of the synovial fluids, remember, that are regulated partially by the lungs. So it is, can you see, it's almost impossible to make a diagnosis of what someone has, because it's quite out of the point of view of totality. It quite assuringly, or with quite certainty, quite certain it is not the one diagnosis we found. Okay, so keep on practicing. You are on a healing journey, and whatever shows up, if you practice daily and or regularly, or whatever shows up is probably something positive, like a chain reaction. I have not said to not go to the doctor. You can go to check up if this is what you need, better safe, yes, but most of the time they won't find anything anyway. So then you can commence to doing your own work with finding out the Shen aspects, creating replacement information, inserting it, applying it, implementing it, changing the chi further, changing the body symptom eventually. Having eventually healthy consciousness in which you don't get sick anymore. This doesn't happen in a year, folks. So to all of you who feel some discouragement sometimes, throw it out. Full awareness means healthy, happy, in a good state at all times, means staying ding, undisturbed, calm, relaxed and natural. Full awareness means I know I'm healing, I know I'm getting better since I now am on this journey of working with totality, working on chi and working on information and the body. The consciousness work, the patterns. Or working with chi is actually on the body, and then working with the patterns means working on Shen and the aspects of information. Light focus, keeping the information strong that you will use to replace the healthier information. You could also call replacement information healthier information. But I think replacement information is just a term that we should really, really use in our daily dictionary, because the information about replacement information is making us aware, fully aware that we are replacing sick information with healthy, and it keeps it present that we keep replacing. And so the next step is, after light focus, is no attachment, zero attachment to keeping the information clear and keeping it pure, so that the healing can commence and doesn't constantly fall back and forth within negative thought. Okay, it's getting a little bit better, then we have another worry, and whoop, yeah, another chain reaction might show up, and you go back into worry, and it's all bull. So little by little and step by step. But you are healing. Full awareness into that. And you're living your life in this light and easy state, light focus, and zero attachment. This is what's happening now. And I don't have to check every day if this is getting better. Yeah? Have you heard Janse say that we eventually have to change our lives if we want to have different outcomes, if we want to have a different life? If we want to have a different life, we will have to change some of our daily behaviors, the things we just do. But that's fun and joy, because what comes out is so much more freedom and so much more happiness. So enjoy replacing information, enjoy healing yourself. You are the most fitting person to do that. You yourself, to heal yourself, is the most influential person and, the most powerful person. You are the most powerful human in the entire world to do that, healing you. This is why we need to study, to be able to find replacement information. And now, this is why we need to practice. Because we need means and ways how to get that replacement information into us. How do we do that? Running to some therapists? Other modalities? No. Who has access to totality? Have you ever thought about the word totality? You could apply it to total healing, total body, total chi, total shen. Total, all of them together. And not only the body, not only total body. Totality means that if you work with a method, with a tool that works within totality, that is being built and made within totality, it then will work on totality. And totality always follows the laws of the universe, and the universe has built you in the first place, so the universe should know how to help you. All we need to do is follow the universe. It's very simple. And if you're using Ren Shui to make yourself healthy, in the total body, total chi and total shen aspects, so Ren Shui, the work on patterns and learning about information and about what it means to be a human, is necessary to have information. Learning about Qi means so you can make connections within your body and body parts. And also it's the nourishment, and working on your body means working with Qi. So learning about Shen and Qi and then using it to work with Qi, using the information to work with Qi, and that's how you work on the body, on the Qi, and again on Shen. Because through the work on Qi, the Yuan Gong practice, you are in this deepened state in which so much more potential is there for you. So when you use this information now during Yuan Gong practice, that's when you have the most influence in the safest way. No side effects, no risks. Really take some time and think about these aspects, what it means to be able to have tools within totality. If you have separations or disconnections there, and you need to go ahead and look if you have that. Do you have a disconnect between how the Yuan Gong practice will heal your body? Go ahead and look for it. This is another reason for this healing organ series for me. And again, I did want to do only lung and large intestine exercises today, but then this information just is showing up in a chi field, and I just have promised myself and you, or I don't like the word promise so much, because nobody's perfect, and it might be that one cannot keep up with a promise. So I have assured myself, and I want to give my assurance that I don't want to be pressured by time with this organ series. Because we have infinite time, as it looks like. So I'm building the foundation for the rest of the organs, that we can build up about. Do your best to think about totality relating to your physical health, relating to your chi health, relating to your shen health, your mental health. Do your best to gain some understanding in this direction so you can remove all the blockages and disconnections, all the things that stand between you and your healing. Because it's only really your consciousness that stands between you and that. The universe has made it so that everything can heal. We only, literally, only need to follow the corresponding laws. It's very simple, actually. Practically not that much, is it? But we're doing our best, yes? Okay, so with this information, we're going to go ahead and look a little bit into the possibilities of what is especially good for lung and large intestine. I can already promise you one thing. You will hear, whenever we're coming to those implementation series, to those implementation web classes of the organs, I can assure you, you will hear one thing a lot. But best is to do overall. Best is to do the whole practice. For example, when we look at Renyuan, the best is to always do the whole practice. I hope it becomes apparent why that is, because everything is so connected and influences everything else, nourishes and controls everything else. Remember the Ke and Sheng cycle? Okay, so what is good for lungs and large intestine in means of practice? Let's see. Tien Yuan, the first method of Yuan Gong. First of all, we're starting with the relaxation, the preparation, the relaxation and the building of a chi field. How is that good for our lungs and large intestines? To relax means also to let go, to release tension. So lungs and large intestine are about releasing and letting go. So through you practicing the simple standing or sitting and going through your body parts step by step by step, trains and strengthens the ability of the one property, your ability to relax and let go. Can you see how we have totality within this concept? Every day when you practice to relax your face and your head. Go ahead and do it with me. Relax your neck and throat. Relax your shoulders and arms and hands. You're lifting from Bai Hui. The tongue tip is resting on the upper palate. You're looking straight forward. Draw your vision back. Keep relaxing head and face, the chest cavity, upper back. Relax abdomen and lower back. Relax your pelvis. Always think of Hui Yin. Lift Hui Yin when you're sitting to lower Dantian, when you're standing to Ming Men. Relax your legs and feet. Relax and let go of tension in your whole body. Release time, release your body. Turn into Qi. Observe your state now. Keep the state and open your eyes again. This is very good for your lungs and for your large intestines. Relaxing, going into a calm state, brings you into the natural state. And this is why your lungs and your large intestine function better. They also, because of the totality of your Shen, Qi and body, also your lungs and your large intestines are now in a relaxed, in a calm and in a natural state. What does natural mean? It means in a healing and growing state. On a physiological level, our nervous system can only be in two different types of modes. The healing and the growth mode, growing and healing, developing, reproducing healthy, or the flight and fight mode, in which nothing grows and nothing is nourished, it's just used and abused and misused and used up. That's all that happens in a flight and fight mode. So whenever you are not in a relaxed, calm and natural state, a lot of the natural processes like Qi flowing well, Qi accumulating where it needs to accumulate, Qi nourishing where it needs to nourish, cell reproduction. Cell reproduction is important because it keeps building cells. Yes? Every second you get 20,000 blood cells. All 3 days, every cell in your large intestine, your intestinal lining, not the whole large intestine, the intestinal lining has replaced every cell all 3 days. If there is enough fuel, Qi, your cells are always reproducing and getting renewed. All 260 to 270 days you have every cell in your entire skeletal system, every cell in each of your bones is being replaced at least once. The only reason we get sick or weak is because we do not hang out in an enough healthy state for Qi to constantly gather and flow in a good quality. Work on yourself to be in a relaxed state as much as possible, day in, day out. This is the biggest healing session you can ever receive from anybody, namely you in a good state. So relaxing is very good for your lungs and large intestines. Also, your bronchia are being exchanged. Okay, so there's no real reason for disease or sickness, for illness in itself, other than we're not taking care of our state, we don't take care of our chi. Those are the reasons for why we actually get sick. There is no actual reason within the anatomy or physiology why we get sick. Those reasons are within our state of Shen. Because in the natural state we are unified with the universe and its natural mechanisms of self-healing. And for now, that's the human laws, and that's why after 100, Janse talks about 125 to 175 years being a normal human lifespan if someone lives following the universal laws. So this would be the normal human life, healthy. You would be living healthy for 150 years. Not with problems and symptoms, plagued by suffering and symptoms and pain. So, relaxation is the first practice that is really good for your lungs and large intestines. What does your large intestine need to do? It's doing peristaltic, right? What is this? Relaxation. 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 If we want to go to the toilet, what is it that the rectum and the large intestine need to do? They need to relax, to let go of the stool. So if you can't go very often or very good, that means you're not relaxed enough. You don't hang out enough in your natural human state, natural universal state. A healthy state, calm, relaxed, light, happy, joyful, uplifted. Did you expect some fancy exercises, especially good for lungs? Well, here you got it. This is this is a fancy exercise, especially good for lungs and large intestine, and it is a funky and fancy exercise that you can practice all day long. In your car, during work, in the supermarket, during cooking, during walking, during swimming, during sleeping, before sleep, after sleep, in the morning, first time. We practice this before practice, so we practice it to live it, to live it. Full awareness, light focus, zero attachment. always relaxed. The next exercise that is particularly good for lungs and large intestine is building a chi field. So as you are relaxed, you have now the possibility of using your Shen in a very special way. A very potent way. And first you use it to dissolve yourself in chi. And then you open. Shen and your chi are merging with the universal chi. The yuan chi, the original chi, the chi that you need for fuel because you can transform it into everything you need. And if you need more lung chi, more large intestine chi, that's what you can do. So you open out and you get the chi and you draw it in. And as you are drawing it in, while you build the chi field, you just draw it in around you or however big you want. And then you keep drawing in the chi, but you keep rotating it in the chi field. And this is when you put the information in first. With full awareness, light focus, and zero attachment. My lungs are healthy. I exchange thoughts very well. Healthy thoughts in, unhealthy thoughts out immediately. Healthy emotions in, unhealthy emotions out. I am always relaxed. My compulsions have turned into joy of responsibility for myself. Those tasks are joy to carry responsibility for. And whatever compulsion I have that is damaging me is gone. My chi is transforming beautifully from unhealthy to healthy. Every nanosecond, every moment of my day and of my week and of my month and of my entire life. I'm still building chi field, right, guys? So you can go mad. You can go wild and wide with information. Take yourself time to build chi fields. Doing the 6 verses is fabulous because it has a totality quality about it. But practicing without CDs is important because you can sometimes, I get stuck in building a chi field often for 15 minutes, half an hour before practice. So you do want to sometimes practice without CDs. So you need to use this potential. Put in specific information. I can't keep repeating everything because, all the information we found the last 3 classes you can put in a positive way. The wording just needs to be, you don't have to be aware too much of, not to say my unhealthy compulsions are gone. You need to feel them and see them, how they dissolve, and you need to see, instead of eating this, I'm eating that. That's one of my compulsions, needing to eat chips. Yes? So that's what you put into when you build a chi field. You put in the replacement information. After you have done a very good relaxation before building the chi field, your Shen is in a very powerful and potent state. So sometimes in 1 second you are unified with totality and you are very clear and unified with very pure information. Then you don't have to put information in thoughts. That's another version. That's why the 6 verses can be extremely powerful. But it's rather to live the 6 verses while you go through them, other than just listen to them from someone else even saying them. Okay? So live the 6 verses when you build your chi field. Establish a state within you. And then you can put in all the information. Whatever you have found out, put it in your chi field, into there, in a positive way. So the information is the order to now develop and manifest. You know, whatever you put as information into the chi is what will be manufactured within your body, within your life. So when you have observed your thought patterns, for example, around exchange, and then put that into your chi field. So when you have observed that you're not very well in exchanging positive thoughts with your mother, go and do that. I'm thinking really loving thoughts of my mother. Or, I'm so grateful for that she changed my nappies. That she has birthed me. If you can't find anything else, be happy that you're alive. Whatever. Things replace information more and more positive. That's what you do during the chi field building. So chi field building is especially good for lungs and large intestine. And then you have a choice of a lot of possibilities after building the chi field. Janse has given us these beautiful, beautiful methods and exercises. So let's see. Tien Yuan, the first method. We draw a huge amount of qi from all 6 directions first. This is especially good for lungs and large intestines because we get more qi into them. It also is especially good for lungs and large intestine because you open and close, which is a very... One moment. What's the word? Basic and fundamental is the word. Which is a fundamental movement of lungs and large intestine. What do? They open and they close. They open and they close. So, opening and closing in Tien Yuan is especially good for lungs and large intestine. We commence to gathering qi in the 3 Chao, San Chao. So the lower Chao is especially good for large intestine, and the upper Chao is especially good for lungs. Of course, the middle Chao is especially good for the stomach. And we have seen that the lung qi is we have heard that the lung qi is responsible for bringing qi down and transporting the food qi, transforming it even into pure qi is the air qi, into true qi, the qi that is being able to be used by the body. Here we go. Yeah? Can you detect already that you now see much more aspect in what I would never have time to teach in a Tianyuan class, in the basic course? Now that you have the other 3 classes with information specific to large intestine and lungs, you can see much more how good Tianyuan, for example, is, or how good everything is for especially that organ, and why you need especially, need to use time to practice. Connecting the Sun Chao is especially good for why? Because we connect all the organs, but we definitely connect, for example, we're connecting the Shen with the Qi aspects of Chao, and we're connecting it with the whole body. So again, the totality of Qing, Qi and Shen is established, but also the totality of Shen between organ Qi is established, and we're talking about the Sun Chao Qi, the Qi of Sun Chao, which is one form of organ Qi. Not the pure organ Qi, as we have learned in my Shaiyuan class, but which a lot of you have done via this forum, and if you haven't done it, you can, if you want, book it, or, do it, participate in it. So, the aspect of the organ Qi that is within Sun Chao is being connected and nourished because more is getting in. So this is especially good for lung and large intestine. It looks like I need another web class for lungs and large intestine. Because I'm just explaining the things that I wanted to start with, and then something else happened. And next time we're going to implement then and do some Qi work actually together again. But maybe that's good, because it actually is, again, I'm in awe of the Qi field. I still have a few informations to talk about, and then we can basically use next week's web class completely to practice and get into deep, deep states for the lungs and large intestine. What's the next step in Tianyuan? Nourishing Qi in Dantian, and then we're closing Qi from the universe and drawing Qi from all over to us, right? So then we rub Qi into lower Dantian. Lower Dantian is the battery for the body, the physical Qi. So rubbing Qi at the end, the 3 times left and the 3 times right, is especially good for lungs and large intestines, because you're nourishing your lower Dantian Qi, you're nourishing your physical Qi. Also because when there's lots of, let me keep that for D1. Let's go to D1 then. Again, first we have the preparation, the relaxation and the building of the Qi field, which is especially good for lungs and large intestine. I have assured you I will use that a lot, this phrase, right? I want you to become aware of, we need to get away of this working too specific, because we are part of totality, And we lose a lot of power and a lot of potential when we are separating and specializing, when we discompartmentalizing. Hmm? Totality is the magical word, is the magic itself. Why not use it? The more moments, the more hours you use to work within totality, the more potential and possibilities and opportunities you have to be actually healed. This is the most positive way how I can explain why it's preferable it's preferable to use the modality working on your consciousness and life development and working on your chi for chi and body. Ren shui. Every hour more you hang out in totality and in a state of totality with full awareness of totality, a light focus with it, being very clear on it and keeping it pure and simple with zero attachment, is gonna give you the biggest chance on healing. Why would you limit yourself? So it has nothing to do in Ren Shui when we talk about the limitations of other systems, or it has nothing to do with this. It has to do with the full awareness of totality and the knowledge about totality. Okay? After the preparation of Di-Yuan, which Tianyuan often is a very good part of it, you are commencing to nourish lower Dantian Qi. So, lower Dantian Qi is the Qi for your physical body. You want to have a lot of it, so your life is not over when you're 90 and not sick when you're 50 or earlier, like me, I was trashed with 32. And you want to such strong chi. Go ahead and feel. Chi is just pouring into Lower Dantian right now with very strong healing information. I love chi, I have to say. I love totality and this whole... The universe, I love the universe because the universe gives us this potential and this power. I'm just so in awe. So, lower Dantian Qi also nourishes the middle and the upper Dantian Qi. Where was I? I'm overwhelmed by totality. I'm sorry. This keeps happening in this class. It's amazing. Like, it's just so much powerful Qi and information. So, lower Dantian Qi has been nourished, and so you can live a healthy life, 125, 150, 175 years within your physical body, because you have enough fuel to go and to sustain healthy cells. Don't laugh, don't smirk about it. First we use it to repair everything, and then we use it to build up. And in the physical Qi, that means having a body for longer, in the end. Which is what we all want, right? Living longer and healthier. So Di-Yuan, especially good for lungs and large intestine. Then we nourish middle Dantian Qi. Well, middle Dantian holds the chi for pure organ chi. It holds the aspect of, it's the chi that holds, that where it brings together in Yuan Gong. That's also very exactly explained in the Sha Yuan, in my Sha Yuan course online, is that it holds why we use the middle dantian where we use it, because there's different places in traditional Qigong and other Qigong systems. Yangtze has given us very specific reasons why we use middle dantian where it is for us, because that's where the merging place is for the three aspects of organ qi: the physical organ qi, the qi organ qi, and the shen organ qi. All those aspects are merging in middle dantian. And large intestine, or lungs, and large intestines are part of organs. So the yuan middle dantian is especially good for lungs and large intestines. Can you now do just a few minutes lower dantian and a lot middle dantian and a few minutes upper dantian? Yes, you can. If you have still physical symptoms going on, I would recommend to nourish longer lower dantian, and then middle dantian long, and then upper dantian also long. D1 is just something that is done better long. And I'm doing my best as well to incorporate it into my life as good as I can. Middle dantian is getting nourished, strong and well. Abundant qi in middle dantian. Remember, you need lower dantian qi to build up middle dantian qi. The same for upper dantian qi. All the information that we have been looking out, that you for yourself personally through the classes have been finding out about your life and your lungs and your large intestines, all those informations you have put into the chi field now are being nourished plus chi in your upper dantian. And the chi is gathering and the information is going on deeper layers in D1 than in almost any of the other practices. So D1, upper dantian chi, is especially good for lungs and large intestine because the information is getting very strong. Your dantian breathing. And since it's the theme and the topic of this month, dantian breathing, we dantian breathe with full awareness of totality, completely in the here and now, in dantian, with knowing of all the three dantians are being nourished, all the shen aspects, all the replacement information is working, and you are healing and developing your life. A light focus, so you stay there, and you are there, and the chi really arrives. And zero attachment to keep the information pure and clear. And then we connect the three dantian, again, especially good for lung and large intestine qi, because it makes all aspects of lung and large intestine qi work. Also because we are bringing it through the whole central channel, and the central channel is connected to the rest of our qi. especially the nourishment and the transformation of universal chi into your own personal chi is especially good for lung and large intestine chi, which is one of the major aspects of D1, that it's not universal chi anymore, it has been transformed into Dantian chi. What is one characteristics of lung or even large intestine chi? Transformation. Yes? Lungs transform a lot. A lot of the quality of transformation is the characteristics of what lung chi is doing for us. Transformation. Okay. Renyuan. So I'm just going to start, and then you can do the rest of the thought process yourself. You can go through every segment and every section yourself, actually, and find reasons. So next time you practice Renyuan, pay some attention to the information. So when you do, you can work this out yourself, basically. Let's see, maybe we can go through it. So when you do the cloud hands, first of all, you're gathering a lot of chi, and you're unifying yin and yang. Exchange is important in lung chi, so exchanging between yin and yang, transforming yin chi into yang chi and yang chi into yin chi, so the cloud hands are especially good for lung chi and large intestine. Lung chi is the yin, large intestine chi is the yang chi, for example, so it's very good for the health of metal organs. Cloud hands, that's what they all do. Interesting, yes? The first segment, turning the head, turning the body, turning hips and chest, is especially good for lungs and large intestine. Through turning the head, you bring yang chi up. That's nourishing Shen, and the better Shen is, it's very good for lungs and large intestine. Because you're in this position, when you turn your head, you open these areas here where the lung chi is flowing. The same as when you do the rotating of the chest and hips, Hershey hands is very beneficial for lung chi, because you're opening these areas. Remember, or look again at the lung and large intestine channels. Hershey hands is very beneficial. Yeah? So we come to turning the body right away. That's just fitted into this position. And we're lowering our body very well. Remember, the internal branch from the large intestine and goes up from the mid-center of your middle leg all the way up. Yeah, connecting. And then what was it going? It goes from here through the neck up, and it goes around here, as it comes over here, and then goes into around the lips. So you move all of this, so you move the chi everywhere there. So that's why it's very healthy for the large intestine. Did you ever think that this was so good for your large intestine, turning off the head? We only think really of the face and the neck, the head things, right? Especially good for large intestine, turning the head. And all its properties, letting go, releasing, It helps you with addictions, if you have, for example, because it helps you to practice to let go of compulsion. If you have a big compulsion with protecting yourself, it's very good, this exercise, because it opens lung chi and large intestine and really, really nourishes it in a big way. The same is basically with turning the hips and the chest. Of course, because you bring the chest out in the back and you bring the chest out in the front, and just go ahead and feel it, how the shoulder blades open out and how your lungs can expand into the back and how they open out to the front and then how they open to the side, and then how they're able to open out in the front when you turn. And you turn like this, and then you turn as you turn your upper body. When you turn the chest, you make the lung space open into all directions, so it's very good for your lungs. And at the same time you rotate with your hips, so of course that's very good for your large intestine. Also you are lowered, so that again activates that branch of the large intestine, and it also activates the internal branch of your lungs going down. And all the way you're activating the external branch of your lung and large intestines through Hershey hands. So Hershey hands by itself is especially good for large lungs and large intestine. Turning off the body, same thing. Can you see how through the chi coming up and lifting up, the chi surging up, and you open up this whole side? So that is very good for your lungs to open up here. And also you are activating chi in the two areas. This is why Janse tells us to have the hands facing forward, and then upstairs you pull it back diagonal over the head and you give the hand a little twist, and that's why you do it. One reason is the meridians in the hand, and the large intestine and the lung meridian go right here. So you're not just wishy-washy going over here like this. You give it a little twist to the back of the hand. I've explained it very exactly in my Renyuan course, which you can do online. Sorry, it sounds a bit like I'm selling, but I really want you to know all these things. That's why I'm doing those courses, besides wanting to live of it, of course. Okay, so this surge that comes up, because the chi comes up from the other side leg, and then the chi comes in and goes up here, opens your whole lung here. As well as the up and down movement is always good for the large intestine, for the internal branch. Okay, time is up for today. So we'll continue at the second segment, which by now you should actually already know it. So next week is what I've had in my head for this week, but then information took over, and I hope you've enjoyed it just as much as me. Let's just go ahead and draw chi back together. Sit into a very good position. Lifting from Bai Hui. Looking straight forward, draw your vision back. Gently closing the eyes. Tongue tip is resting on the upper palate. Make sure Hui Yin is lifted. And then unify with the relaxation and the chi field. Feel the strong information and the amount of chi that has been accumulating throughout web class, and draw it into your head to upper dantian. open into the chi field again. And draw all the chi back to lower dantian. Thinking of lower dantian. Nourish chi in lower dantian. If you're in a really beautiful state, you can continue to do this nourishing for a little while. And then commence with tapping down chi, your legs, before you stand up. Make sure you can stand very well. Maybe open your legs if you have been sitting cross-legged the whole 1.5 hours. Bring your hands to the back. Vibrate chi into your kidneys. Rub your kidneys. And then vibrate down chi, the outside of your legs. The knees. You can even have light focus on this large intestine branch, the internal one, down. Ankles, feet, outside, toes, the inside. Vibrate chi up. With light focus again, connect with the large intestine and with all of the chi in there. Vibrate chi up through the knees. Thighs, groin. Back to nourishing chi. And just feel the state again. It immediately sets in now as you go into stillness of the body. Stillness is there in your mind after the web class. You have received abundant chi for your 3 dantians, for your lungs and large intestines, and for the totality of your life. And so you can keep nourishing chi if you want, and then do the head and face yourself. Thank you.